96.7 Lights FM.
It's Covey and Christine, and Covey, special guest that I'd like to introduce today, someone that I saw on TV on the Today Show. Shira Kupperman Bowler is with us. And Shira was on the Today Show, and she's written a book called One Scan Saved My Life, How One Woman's Story Will Change the Way We Detect Lung Cancer. When she was on the screen, you saw me, I went running for the volume.
Yep.
Because I have yet to see anyone come out with my story, a story that I can relate to, which I will get into. First, I want to introduce Shira. Shira, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Christine. Thank you for having me and Cubby. I mean, I was just speaking to my colleagues about it this morning. Today's really emotional for me, and I've spoken to a lot of different people, but finding a fellow survivor and thriver and friend through all this who's ready to share their story touches me more than I thought it would, and touches me more than I ever imagined it would. I just think it's so special to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Shira, thank you. And Cubby, thank you so much. You and producer Kristen have definitely made this a safe space, a supportive space. So a year ago, I was diagnosed with lung cancer, the same that you had, Shira. And I took some time away from work. And it was hard and it was scary, but I'm not here to worry anyone. I know the world is rough. It's stressful out there. I don't want to add to stress. I want you to know I'm okay. But I did have this experience. And it did feel like it came out of left field, because it seems that it's happening to a lot of people. Sorry. And take a break.
I know it's tough. You're doing great, though. You're doing great.
So, Shira, I was really surprised at my diagnosis, as I know you were. I think many times lung cancer is associated with people who are at high risk, maybe because they're smokers or working conditions or a certain lifestyle. You and I did not have those factors going on.
You're right. When the doctor told me that I had lung cancer, I told him he was wrong. I told him that it was the wrong scan, that maybe, the electronic medical records messed up and transferred it to the wrong person.
Because you never smoked?
I've never puffed a cigarette. I not only have never smoked, I've actually never been around secondhand smoke. My father's a lung doctor. So my whole life, I would hold my breath if I'd see someone smoking on the street.
Wow.
I would run the other way. I always felt, and my brother's the same way, that if we ever puffed a cigarette or stood near somebody who smoked, our dad would know. And so we were scared out of our mind. So even when I told my dad that the doctors told me I had lung cancer, he knew I'd never had a cigarette. And he was like, what? No, that can't be. And then as it unraveled and the truth was I did have lung cancer, he kind of said, how did this happen? What happened? And almost jokingly, we kind of decided maybe because he was a lung doctor, because somebody had to get up and yell and scream and tell people that lung cancer is killing more of young, healthy women than breast cancer and ovarian cancer and colon cancer combined. And we're not talking about it. We're not screening for it. We think it's only for high-risk patients that smoke cigarettes, and it's not. And the problem is today, to get the lung screening, they want you to be over 50 and smoke a pack a day for 20 years. And Christine didn't do that, and I didn't do that, and we both had lung cancer. And the reality is that they found 70% of people diagnosed with lung cancer in 2025 didn't meet those guidelines. They were not over 50, and they did not smoke a pack a day for 20 years. So we have to change it, and it's a lot of the narrative. And so I think...
So I'm over 50 years old. Like, if I wanted to get checked, are they going to be like, oh, well, you don't smoke, so... No.
Correct.
So we have to break down that door?
Yeah, correct. You can request to pay out of pocket and just not put it on your insurance, but you really have to push and work a lot with your doctor to get that done. But correct, you can't get insurance to cover it, like they cover a mammogram or a colonoscopy.
Right.
So I just think it's scary because we shouldn't have that stigma, and we shouldn't pass away from it. If we're caught early like you, Christine, and like me, we're okay.
Yeah.
It's really scary. It's very emotional. But, they cut out part of our lung and we're back.
Yeah, we're here. We're recovering. we're very grateful that it was caught so early. For me, they call it like an incidental. I have asthma, so we were screening my lungs because I was wheezing, and then we saw the simple way to put it is a spot on the lung, and we said, okay, we'll follow it for 2 years. And it was at the end of 2 years, I was going for my very last scan at the end of 2 years, and that's when it started to change. And then once they see it change, you can go for a PET scan, a biopsy, and that's when they determine that's got to go. And the sooner you can move on that, the better. So that's why we feel so strongly about spreading the word and awareness, and hopefully getting screenings for people at an earlier age, and people who aren't considered at risk.
Yeah, I think I talk a lot about it in the book that there's other risk factors, and unfortunately I haven't found my risk factor and you haven't found yours, but there are other ones like occupational hazards, family history. Actually, breast cancer survivors have a twofold increase of getting lung cancer as a primary cancer within 5 years. So there's other risk factors that should be accounted for. I also think, you were lucky that they found it incidentally. A lot of times people are nervous about those scans. And I always try to talk to people about it, that your skin has spots, your lungs have nodules. It's the same. And what do we do with a dermatologist, right? We go back, we check the little skin spots. They're the same. Have they changed? Are they growing? Is the color different? And that determines whether you biopsy it. It's the same with your lungs. So the reason they tracked you for 2 years was, let's see what this nodule does.
Yeah.
If it doesn't do anything, you're fine because your skin has freckles, But it changed, and you're really lucky that you advocated for yourself and followed up and went and did it again, and that your doctor saw it,
Right.
and saw that change and made note of it. It is mostly found incidentally. I mean, I did a random scan because my husband and I are in healthcare, and we do all the random scans and all the random, different tests that are available out there. And that's why I'm here today. That's why you're here today, because it was an incidental finding.
I feel like, how the narratives changed for colonoscopies. It used to be people over 50, and then we found that it was affecting younger people, and now the guidelines are 45. So we're feeling the same about getting a scan, these for the lungs and for your chest. To maybe we have to think about doing this. Not even maybe, we should be doing this at a younger age, and it should be available to more people. Once again, we're saying that we didn't have any of the risk factors that are usually considered. I don't know why it's happening, but I know I saw several surgeons, and they all told me they're seeing more and more of this, especially with women and younger women.
Yeah.
And we don't know why.
I think when I was laying in the hospital bed with the chest tube, remember how terrible that is, and in recovery, that's when I realized, I kept thinking, like, how did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? What's going on? And when I realized that I was so lucky to catch it early and incidentally, and that I wasn't unique. Like, this diagnosis is super common, but we're not talking about it, and we're not paying attention to it. And when I think about the scan, like relative, right? So I've had a lot of mammograms. I've had one colonoscopy. They hurt in a mammogram. The colonoscopy is like kind of 2 days of work, right? You can't really.
Everybody talks about the
function.
prep. Yes.
Prep. They put you out under, it's not like that enjoyable. But the CT scan that tests your lungs is like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even take your clothes off. You lay down, in and out. You're not claustrophobic, or I wasn't. I'm very claustrophobic usually. And it doesn't hurt. I just found that part really interesting. So I'm often telling friends, go with your friend. Go at your coffee break. It's not something you have to miss work. It's not something that takes 2 days of prep. It's not something that's painful. It's actually really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of it, when I tell my peers to do it, is they get nervous, right? They're like, well, what if they find something?
Right.
So then I talk to them about, are you nervous when you get your mammogram or your colonoscopy? No, you're thinking, I should be fine. And if I'm not, at least I'll catch it early.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same. You should be fine, right?
Yes.
But if you're not, be like Christine
Yes.
and catch it early.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I completely understand the fear. And I understand the fear behind any kind of test. We're all afraid of a diagnosis. But we always
better to get the diagnosis than not know and it sit there.
when the doctors
They can
can
do something.
still help us, and
Right.
yeah, surgery can help you or treatment can help you. I think one surgeon had said to me, because I think I went around to different doctors because I wanted to hear, you guys screwed up, right? You got the wrong test results, like you said, Shira. It's like, no,
Wrong
that's just
person.
one. Let's do others. And one surgeon finally said to me, don't stick your head in the sand, and like that stuck with me. It's like, I can't hide from this. So he's like, whether you do the surgery now or you do it in a few months, you're going to need this surgery. And he said, if somebody told me I had a little bit of cancer in me, I'd want it out of there as soon as possible. So I went with that, moved very quickly. I think before I had a chance to even process what was going on. But like you said, Shira, like you kind of question yourself. I did a lot. Like, well, what did I do wrong? What happened? And again, the doctors didn't have an answer for me. One said it was a bad cell. That's all they know right now. They said they're trying to look at why this is happening to younger women, and they're suggesting, is it something in our environment? Is it makeup? Is it cleaning products? Is it what we're doing for a living? We really don't know. There doesn't, even between you and I have like exchanged notes, we don't even have the same kind of lifestyle. So we really don't know why this is happening. We just know that it is.
Yeah, no, and they're trying to do different tests. In Asia, they ran a big study because they found that the women were getting it faster who did not smoke than the men who did smoke. So that risk factor seemed like it wasn't the right direction. And they thought maybe it was cooking oils. And to be honest, Christine, I don't cook. I don't laundry. I don't get a manicure. So those things were not on my docket for risk factors. But they actually redid the test here in New York City because in New York, no one cooks.
Right.
And they found the same thing. They found that the women who weren't smoking, the Asian population, were still getting it at a higher rate than the men that were. And they don't know why.
Yeah.
And so they keep, coming up with the hypothesis, trying to test it, and they haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
Some things they know, right? If you smoke, you have a higher risk. If you're a veteran near burn pits, you have a higher risk. A firefighter, there's these occupational hazards, breast cancer survivor. So there are some risk factors that they've been able to pinpoint, but for the most part, they don't know. And so the only answer is check your lungs, right?
Right.
Let's make sure. I think like all the profits from my book are going to my nonprofit. It's called Cancer Doesn't Care. That's it, cancerdoesn'tcare.com. And the reality around it is just to pay for people's screens because you were lucky
Yes.
that you had asthma, so they were following you. I was lucky because I am in the healthcare world, so I just thought it would be interesting to do a scan, and that I can afford it and you can afford it, and we have the right, means and
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't, and I don't think cancer cares whether you have all the connections and the means. So, why should our system care? And so I think there are so many great opportunities and tests out there to beat cancer and make cancer a chronic illness, not
Yeah.
something we die from, but something we maybe die with, that, we need to just pivot a little bit and
Right.
get our mammograms, make sure we get our colonoscopies, make sure we get our skin checked, make sure we get a CT of our lungs.
Right. Let's add this to our screenings to keep ourselves safe as much as possible. I think I just wanted to add that radon. Were they tying it into radon being a risk? Like you should check where you're living. People who are exposed to radon, maybe.
Definitely. You can
that
get
could be a
little.
factor.
We have one in our Pennsylvania home.
Yeah.
Like there's more radon in Pennsylvania for some reason.
It's naturally occurring.
I never heard about
right?
it in New Jersey. We have a home in New Jersey
Yeah.
and a vacation home in Pennsylvania, and they made us get a radon thing.
Yeah. Certain states are better about telling you about it, but you can go online and put your zip code in and it'll tell you. But the easiest is they're just a couple $100. You can get a radon detector. There's a few radon companies online that'll send them to you and just hooks up to your phone and it shows you your radon. Actually, a lot of libraries, you can check it out, like a radon detector, and take
Oh,
it home
wow,
for
I
a
didn't
couple
know that.
weeks. So
Okay.
it's free.
Yeah.
I would recommend like trying that, and then maybe as you get comfortable buying one for a couple $100, because the radon exposure in your house changes dramatically with weather and time of day and time of year for whatever reason. And then I've tested mine and did not have high radon in my
Yeah,
home.
we don't either. So,
But I did
Yeah.
put in a radon mitigator system in the house because I was so nervous after everything that happened. And it's just like a pipe with a fan blowing under your house. So it's not that financially, detrimental, and it's really easy. But you're right. It is another risk factor.
right. And this is why it's so important. I'm so happy that you went on television and that I got to meet you and
Yeah, I
talk
want to
to
ask
you
real quick,
because
Shira, how does it feel, the impact that you played here? Because you affect millions of people on TV, right? And your book, you hit Christine, and then Christine is now sending the message out. So, like, you guys are, like, passing the baton.
yeah.
I mean, I applaud you both
Oh, thank
for
you, Cubby.
for spreading the message. And, it
Thank
just,
you for being so supportive. Thank
well,
you.
and I applaud you, Christine, because I supported you when you wanted to keep it a secret, and it was a big decision for you to come out. And I know Shira played a big part of it too when you saw her on TV. And how do you feel now that it's out and everyone knows?
Well, like I said, and Shira will get to you and how you feel about your impact. But Shira was a great example of why I felt like, okay, I need to speak up and help raise awareness. I wanted to get through it. I don't want to worry anybody, and that was my original reason. I didn't want to worry anybody, and I feel like we come on the air to spread joy. We just want to be your friend and be happy and make things better as much as we can, because the world has been tough and people have a lot. They have a lot that they're dealing with, a lot of stress. I don't want to add to that. I just want to say you are not alone, and we are here supporting you. And when it comes to lung cancer in particular, there's just not a lot of conversations around it at all. And I don't see real support groups around it either. Like, I feel like, can we build a community where we're supporting each other too? So again, you don't feel so isolated with this.
Yeah. I would say lung cancer survivors is more lonely than like a breast cancer survivor or others. So I've latched on a lot to my breast cancer surviving friends because
Yeah,
you
me too.
need someone to kind of share with. But in this process, as I said at the beginning, like when you reached out and then last week when I got the text that said I'm ready, I was more emotional than I thought I would be because it's touching more people and it's making an impact and a difference. And, we need to stand up and yell from the rooftops or the next person won't be as lucky as we are. And I don't wish lung cancer on anyone, but I wish that if you're going to be one of the unlucky to have it, you're one of the lucky to catch it so early, right? I mean, for us, we have an over 90% chance of survival when you catch it early enough that you can just resect it and it's out. But if you're later stage when you really have a symptom, it's really scary. It can be less than 10%, and it's not fair.
It's not, no one in the world deserves cancer. I don't care if you're smoking or not smoking,
Right.
or what your job is or what your lifestyle is. Would do anything to never have cancer in this world. All of us would. I think we've all been affected by it. I've been on every side of it. I've had it. I've been the caregiver. I've lost people to it. So again, Shira, thank you, because you're out there spreading the word and doing the good work and raising awareness and helping us to raise funds for people to get the screenings and also for research. Would love to see more time and attention and research to fighting cancer and lung cancer in particular.
Yeah, you're right, Christine. You're doing it now, too.
Oh, I am, like
Right.
kind of unofficially.
You guys could be a pretty fierce team here.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, if you ever need me to, I don't know. What do we do?
We could be the blonde and the brunette. We could run around and scream from the top.
Yeah, and do tours. Yes, exactly.
We'll do that. Exactly.
We'll have you sing. I'll just
I actually, Cubby's the singer in the group.
Oh,
Can we
okay.
bring him in?
But my
Yes.
shirt comes off a lot too, so be
and he
prepared for
has
that.
less hair, so you could be the
Yeah.
blonde, the brunette, and
And the less hair guy.
the less hair guy.
Guy.
Well, thank you both.
I mean, thank you. And this is my opportunity to thank you and to thank Kristen and Jill, our boss, and everyone here at iHeart for being so supportive and wonderful and encouraging me to speak up today, because I have been very emotional about this. Shira, you're incredible. You are an inspiration, the way you've shared your story, the way you live your life. And thank you for doing this for us, for everyone.
We applaud you both. Let's all do it. Come on.
Aw,
Yay! F cancer.
Yeah.
Yes.